Good evening. Thank you for joining us for First Coast News at 7 o'clock. I'm Jessica Clark. Tonight we continue coverage about a 12-year-old boy who was flown to a trauma center after crashing an electric bike. Tonight we're following three bills headed to the governor's desk, Ron DeSantis' desk. Well, searching for the next leader of the St. Johns County School District has reached the finalist point.
Preseason, we won our first game. Who was anchoring on GMJ? Jessica Clark. We win our first regular season game. Who's anchoring on GMJ? Jessica Clark. I'm only the sports director. I'm not the news director. But on Fridays, y'all need to add a seat on that desk on Monday so that Jessica Clark can be here and we can win. Go Jaguars! Roll out of bed and have a marvelous Monday. You can take it away.
I'm going to the news director's office this morning. Thank you, Chris. So, Tim, Friday, beautiful, beautiful day, but some rain's coming. You've been telling us about this, and it's still on its way, right?
Looks like it for the weekend. Of course, we need.
And finally, a bill to slap pricier fines on people who demolish buildings without a permit that are on the National Register of Historic Places. Now, officers were called to the home about a man armed with a handgun and threatening to take his own life. All right, let's shift gears. Let's go over to Chief Meteorologist Tim Deegan because it was a weather alert day and you are watching some storms tonight, Tim.
Yeah, Jessica, still a.
It's interesting. Some see this as disciplinary, as others see this as, hey, this is a nice job. Let's talk about what led up to this, and that was that Signal group chat. Thank you. So let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Tim Deegan, and we are looking ahead at the weekend, and I understand that we have some rain coming, some storms coming.
We did.
We're going to talk with our Chief Meteorologist, Tim Deegan, about the weather this week. It was windy, but beautiful today.
Didn't it feel good?
Yes,
I mean,
it was very nice.
Let's enjoy it while we have it. Let's take a look at the numbers, folks, to put things in perspective. No doubt.
We hope you have a good night. Thanks for joining us. Good night. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jessica Clark. We have weather impact alert days through Monday. And so we want to go right over to meteorologist Ross Muma, who can break things down for us. What are we looking at here, Ross? Will do, Ross. Thank you. New developments over a controversial gun registry at Jacksonville City Hall. And it's important to note that Florida law prohibits local governments from keeping a record of privately owned firearms. Tonight, we're looking at city documents that discuss keeping a log of people's guns at security checkpoints. Here's our Riley Phillips with what she's learning so far. All right, Riley, thank you. A St. Johns County home caught fire twice within 8 hours. St. Johns County Fire Rescue says crews responded to wind. And tonight, our team is speaking with the homeowners. We will have more from what they're saying at 11 o'clock. A 92% drop in speeding violations by schools in Neptune Beach. The city's police chief is crediting new automatic speeding cameras that started issuing tickets 3 weeks ago. Our Zach Wilcox has that story for us.
I sat down with Neptune Beach Police Chief. Side.
All right. Thank you so much. We do follow-ups here at First Coast News. That was just one of them. Now to another follow-up. In St. Augustine, where history has been rebuilt, and as of today, historic Fort Mose site has a fort for the first time in hundreds of years. We've been reporting on the efforts to build an actual historic replica fort for years now. Well, today there was a grand unveiling. To get there. And get this, the Park Service paid such attention to detail to be authentic, even down to the kinds of nails and the kinds of wood that were used on the replica. Tonight marks 4 years since the death of St. Johns County cheerleader Tristan Bailey. She was 13 years old when she was stabbed to death on Mother's Day of 2021. Tristan's killer was 14 years old when he stabbed her 114 times. Our Heather Crawford sat down with Tristan's father to talk about carrying on her legacy.
Or 3 or 4 o'clock.
Okay, and the training camp's in the morning?
Afternoon-ish.
Okay.
Early afternoon.
Early afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be careful no matter where you are and what you do. Have a good night. A good evening, Anthony. You mentioned those posters on the doors of the cathedral. Those were posted within an hour of the announcement of Pope Leo XIV. The Cathedral Basilica here, you can hear the bells ringing for the top of the hour. It is the oldest parish in the United States. So Catholicism, very important here for the founding of the United States. And when the announcement came out today with ringing of bells, the people who were around the cathedral were excited and curious and hopeful.
That one is $20.
In the shadow of the Cathedral Basilica in St. Augustine, Francisco Everos makes and sells jewelry.
It's a blessing to have happiness.
He is one of many who heard the cathedral bells ring for several minutes Thursday afternoon, ringing in the news of a new pope.
Leo the 14th. Ah! That is wonderful.
Robert Prevost was announced as the new pope.
I'm just shocked.
Now named Pope Leo XIV, he is from Chicago and has lived in Peru as a missionary. People here were both thrilled and shocked about the first pope from the United States. Just as the Pope has a Pope Mobile, the Sisters of St. Joseph have a nun-mobile.
As Sisters of St. Joseph and as religious, we're very happy to hear that he is an Augustinian religious.
What an amazing thing to have a Pope that is an American, who represents a portion of Latin America, and who will continue in the footsteps of what Pope Francis had started.
We are, overjoyed because we really see the work of the Holy Spirit.
Thrilled and hopeful, Catholics and non-Catholics alike hope this Pope will lead with love and humility, caring for the small, the poor, and those who are living day by day like Averos.
Everything that brings happiness to the world is positive. And everything that can unite the people through happiness is also a blessing.
And people were saying that part about uniting. They really hope that this Pope can unite the way that Pope Francis did. A lot of people mentioning Pope Francis today, saying, we hope that this new Pope really does follow in his footsteps. One more interesting note, just as various people here from the United States were taking pride in the fact that this was a Pope from the United States, there were many, I talked about 5 or 8 visitors here from Latin America, from South America, and they were also very prideful about his connections to South America as well. Live in St. Augustine, Jessica Clark, First Coast News on your side.